Now, I know there are two schools of thought. Kristine Leahy loves what the Celtics are doing. They are frugal. They are saving their draft picks. But could I not argue they have been reduced to crossing their fingers, coin flipping it on Gordon Hayward? They missed on Butler. They missed on Paul George. Can't we acknowledge now that maybe Danny Ainge has whiffed on some of this free agent stuff?
Well, a lot of this has to do with Kevin Pritchard not wanting to give Paul George what he wanted. Okay, that's the only way you can justify the trade that he made. So if you look at the reported offer that Boston made, 3 first-round picks and 2 potential starters, whether it was Marcus Smart or Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder, that's a better offer than they got from Oklahoma City, Indiana. So I believe Kevin Pritchard was intent on not giving Paul George what he wanted. You're not going to Cleveland. You're not going to Boston. You're not going to the Lakers. In fact, you don't like a small market? I'm going to send you to the smallest market or one of them
so you
in
think
the league.
Pritchard had a little bit of a...
How else to justify that? And I've talked to executives about this over the years, and they've all said, yeah, ideally, if you're in that situation, you want to send the guy out of your conference. But at the end of the day, you have got to make the best deal for your team. So if it means sending him to the next state in your division, you do it. Danny Ainge, we're talking about him, he didn't mind giving Philadelphia in the division the number 1 pick because he thought it was better for his team to get 3.
So you think Pritchard had basically Pritchard to stick it to Paul George?
I do believe that.
Wow.
I do believe that.
That's not being a good GM.
Look, there was a reported deal, the 3-team deal that the 3 owners agreed to. Denver, Cleveland, Indiana. Kevin Love would have went to Denver. Paul George, of course, would have went to Cleveland. And Gary Harris, Trey Lyles, and a draft pick would have went to Indiana. Gary Harris is a nice up-and-coming young player. Trey Lyles is from Indiana. Now, Herb Simon and the other owner, Herb Simon's the owner of the Pacers, he and the other owners agreed to the deal. Then Kevin Pritchard kind of went dark, and it didn't happen. And so I think that is probably a better deal than what Indiana got. Look, I like Victor Oladipo. I know he's a Hoosier and he played in Indiana. But $84 million over the next week, I would have rather have Kevin Love.
No, you and I agree, Kevin Love. Okay, so
So my point, to get back to Ainge, I will say this. I would have given up the Lakers. They have that draft pick that's the Lakers next year or the Kings in 2019. You could have given that up and maybe another player for George. Now, Indiana, it could be a lottery pick. Chances are it will be a lottery pick. Would Indiana have done that? Like I said, I think Pritchard didn't want to give George what he wanted, so maybe there's nothing Ainge could have done. So I'm not going to kill Danny on this one.
Okay, I talked about it earlier, that I think Jay-Z, Michael Jordan, and now LeBron, they've had different stages. And Jay-Z's was, here's how talented I am, look at me world, Grammys, platinum records, championships, mogul stage, where art isn't the only driving force. Michael Jordan, look how great I am, rings, DC, now I want to own a team. And I'm willing to lose games. LeBron, here's how great I am the chosen one, titles, rings, I'll pursue it, leave my hometown. Now he wakes up in the morning and says, I ain't winning many more titles. All those Warriors, 4 players all in their prime. Now bench guys. They're becoming us in Miami. Guys taking pay cuts to play. Great coach, great owner, great stars in their prime. Now it's time to go to stage 3 for LeBron, which is mogul stage, which is I want to make some decisions that aren't all about basketball. I do feel like the Lakers, LeBronzo, are a little in play here. A little.
Look, I'm not going to say you obviously can't rule anything out with LeBron. People didn't think he'd leave Cleveland the first time, didn't think he'd leave Miami and go back. So I'm not going to say never. But I don't agree with that theory, that premise. Because, number one, LeBron's already a mogul. Being in Cleveland, he's Liverpool FC. He's got ownership of that, the soccer team over in Europe. He's got Survivor's Remorse TV show. He's got The Game or The Wall TV show, game show. Uninterrupted Spring Hill Entertainment with Maverick Carter. Like, LeBron is already a mogul as a player. That's number one. Number two, so he doesn't have to be in LA to become a mogul. Number two, you talked about Jordan. Jordan did all that after retirement. When you retire from the NBA, you're still young. LeBron will be like 38, 40, maybe at the most. When he retires, he's got the rest of his life to become even more of a mogul. So he doesn't have to start prematurely. Finally, it would not help LeBron James's brand, in my opinion, to go to the Lakers and not win a championship. If you're right, if he stays in Cleveland and doesn't win again,
it's gonna be a beatdown for 4 years.
He's still the best player. Well, okay, but I agree with you. Like, the only thing to help his brand even more is to win more championships. If you want to say he's not going to win it no matter where he is, don't go to LA to lose. It's one thing for Paul George to go to the Lakers and not win a championship. He's only Paul George. If LeBron James, who is on the level with Kobe, Shaq, Magic, Kareem, Wilt, all those great Lakers, what they all do? They won rings, at least one with the Lakers. So for him to go there and not win a ring, I think would damage his a little. I mean, his legacy is going to be great no matter what, but I think it would damage it a little. So if I was LeBron, I would only go to the Lakers if I am going to win. And finally, for the Lakers, and you brought this up last week, if Lonzo plays well this year, and looks like he's going to be special, and you get Paul George and Brandon Ingram's blossoming, do you turn the team over to LeBron in his 16th year? I know he's going to still be the best player in the league, and is that one title you might get worth that? But LeBron, wherever he goes, he becomes the system.
I just want to.
Lonzo wouldn't be the director anymore. It would be LeBron.
Let's just show Sam. Let's put this up for Broussard to see.
That's fun and nice and
LeBronzo.
catchy.
Okay.
I can see a big baller brand sneaker, LeBronzo.
Lonzo Palooza or LeBronzo? Let me throw this out to you. Would the last star player that leaves turn the lights out in the East?
Oh, my God. If LeBron leaves and goes to the West, you might as well disband the Eastern Conference.
I'll go Western Conference, ACC, Eastern Conference, best basketball.
Now, I do have a theory, and I've said this for years.
Okay, now this is big to me because I have been saying, now Paul Millsap just went Atlanta to Denver. Jimmy Butler, Chicago to Minnesota West. Paul George. So 3 of the top 8 players just left again. PJ Tucker, by the way, the LeBron stopper for Toronto, he's going west. Why? What's happening?
You want my answer, it's not that complicated to me. The teams in the West overall, not every single team, overall, they're better managed than the teams in the East. Their management does a better job. Let's look at Golden State. Steph Curry, they drafted him, okay? Klay Thompson, they drafted him. Both of those players, nobody foresaw them becoming what they have been. Half the people didn't like Steph. Half the people thought he'd be really good. Nobody foresaw this. Okay, Draymond Green was a second-round pick.
Well, Oklahoma City drafted.
Westbrook,
exactly. Harden.
Golden State and Houston and San Antonio. When they don't have cap room, does it stop them from being in the free agent market? They'll find it, right? LaMarcus Aldridge, we want you. We'll find the cap room. We'll clear the team. Houston, we had no cap room. We get Chris Paul. Golden State met with Dwight Howard, no cap room. You know, they would have made it work if he wanted to go there. They're better managed. They draft better. It's just as simple as that. Atlanta's going in the tank, which, okay.
By the way,
that's fine.
Suddenly, teams that were viable, the Pacers and the Hawks, are now in total rebuild mode. So two of your best teams. I mean, listen, Milwaukee didn't do anything in free agency. So Atlanta now is rebuilding. Indiana now is rebuilding. Those were two of your best teams.
Yeah. What I think the NBA should do, especially if LeBron went to the East or West, but just in general, even out the schedule. So have every team play every other team roughly 3 times a year, and then just take the top 16 records.
Agree.
Because again, if LeBron were to leave, can you imagine? How bad?
Can you imagine if you're my former employer or TNT and you get stuck with the Eastern Conference? I mean, I would be. I mean, if I ran either one of those companies, I'd be like, okay, we got to do reseeding here.
Yep.
I'm paying you 1.4 large a year. You're giving me Milwaukee and a rebuilding Atlanta in the first round. Chris Broussard, our money guy, NBA. Good seeing you, bud.